Have you ever felt a silence so heavy that it almost becomes loud? A moment where the world seems to move on without you, where messages stop coming, where friends disappear, where even the people you thought would stay forever suddenly fade away. You look around and realize you're sitting with nothing but your thoughts, nothing but your pain, nothing but the echoes of your own heartbeat. And in that moment you wonder, why am I so alone? My brother, my sister, that loneliness you fear is not a punishment. That silence you run away from is not abandonment. Sometimes Allah removes everyone from your life so you can finally hear Him. Because the noise of this dunya, people, distractions, attachments, heartbreaks can drown out the voice of your own soul. And when Allah wants to strengthen you, guide you, cleanse you, elevate you, He pulls you away from the world, not to hurt you, but to rebuild you. Some of the most life-changing conversations you will ever have will happen when no one is around. The tears you cry in sujood when nobody sees you, those tears rewrite your destiny. The duas you whisper in the darkness, those does open doors no human could ever unlock. Loneliness is not empty. Loneliness is full of lessons, full of mercy, full of Allah's attention. You see, when you're surrounded by people, your heart leans on them. But when you're alone, your heart has no one left to lean on except its creator. And that is the most powerful place a believer can ever reach. So the next time you feel alone, don't say, why is everyone gone? Say, Alhamdulillah, Allah wants to talk to me. There are moments in life when the noise around us becomes so overwhelming that we start losing touch with our own soul. We get caught in conversations, relationships, stress, expectations, and responsibilities to the point where we forget to breathe, we forget to pause, we forget to reflect. And sometimes the only way for Allah to bring us back to ourselves is to place us in a space where the noise finally disappears. That space is solitude, and that solitude is not an accident. It is an invitation. Loneliness becomes a divine signal, a gentle reminder from the one who created your heart and knows exactly what it needs. When Allah wants to speak to you, He doesn't compete with distractions. He removes them. He doesn't shout through chaos. He waits for the moment when your world becomes quiet enough for you to hear Him. Many people assume that being alone means something has gone wrong, that they are unloved, unwanted, or forgotten. But sometimes being alone means you have been chosen for a private moment of guidance that others around you were never meant to hear. Allah is opening a door that only your heart is meant to walk through. Think about it. How many times in your life did clarity come not in a crowded room, but in silence? How many times did you realize the truth about someone or about yourself only when you stepped away from people? How many times did the answers you were searching for suddenly come to you in a quiet night, in a peaceful morning, or during a moment of reflection when nobody was around? That is not random. That is mercy. That is Allah inviting you to see what you were too distracted to notice. In solitude, your emotions finally speak. Pain that was buried rises to the surface. Thoughts you avoided begin to appear. The heart that was exhausted starts to feel again. And though it can be uncomfortable, that process is necessary. You cannot fix a wound you refuse to look at. You cannot heal from something you don't acknowledge. Allah draws you into loneliness so you can finally face yourself, your doubts, your fears, your regrets, your mistakes, because facing them is the doorway to growth. And in that quiet space, something beautiful begins to happen. Your heart softens. You start remembering what truly matters. You realize how temporary this world is. You recognize how deeply you depend on Allah. You understand that people may come and go, but He remains. And when you begin to feel that closeness, when your heart starts beating with awareness of Him, the loneliness you once feared becomes a source of comfort. What people often misunderstand is that solitude is not emptiness. It's full of guidance, full of reflection, full of spiritual strength. It's in these quiet conversations with Allah that you discover direction you didn't know you needed, answers you didn't know existed, and peace you thought you would never feel again. Loneliness becomes a classroom, and Allah becomes your teacher, guiding you gently, privately, lovingly. So the next time Allah places you alone, don't rush to fill the silence with people or distractions. Sit with it. Feel it. Let your heart open. Because that moment is not punishment, it is invitation. It is Allah calling you closer. It is Allah reminding you that He sees you, He hears you, and He wants to speak directly to your soul. There comes a time in every believer's journey when life becomes a test of endurance, faith, and sincerity. These are the moments where you feel as though you're carrying the weight of the world alone. Moments where pain becomes your companion, where uncertainty fills your mind, where your heart feels fragile and exhausted. And it is precisely in these moments that your faith begins to take shape. Your hardest moments, the moments you cry alone, the moments you question your strength, the moments you fall into sujood with trembling hands, these are the moments that build the strongest parts of you. They are not signs of weakness. They are the birthplace of spiritual resilience. Think about it deeply. When everything is going well, you rarely reflect. You rarely question. You rarely search for deeper meaning. But when something shakes your world, when a door closes unexpectedly, when a person leaves, when a hardship arrives, your heart awakens. You turn inward. You turn upward. Hardship pushes you toward Allah in a way comfort never can. It strips away illusions and forces you to confront what truly matters. And that is where faith begins to grow. People assume that strength is built on moments of success, moments of applause, moments where everything falls into place. But true strength, the kind that lasts, the kind that carries you through life, comes from the struggle you endure when no one sees you. It comes from the patience you show when you feel like giving up. It comes from the dua you make at 3 a.m., broken but hopeful. It comes from trusting Allah when nothing makes sense. Every tear shed in solitude becomes a brick in the foundation of unshakable faith. Your hardest moments are not random. They are tailored. They are perfectly measured by the one who knows your limits better than you do. Allah allows certain hardships not to break you, but to rebuild you stronger than before. He knows what needs to be removed from your heart, what needs to be purified, what needs to be strengthened. And sometimes the only way to bring out that strength is through tests that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. There is a reason why some of the strongest people you know are also the ones who endured the most painful trials. Hardship teaches humility because you realize how small you are and how big Allah is. It teaches reliance because you finally understand that no one can solve your problems except Him. It teaches gratitude because you begin to appreciate blessings you once ignored. And most importantly, it teaches sincerity because in your darkest moments, there is no room for showing off, no room for performing, no room for pretending. It's just you and Allah. And that sincerity becomes the core of your faith. The beautiful thing is that every test you go through is accompanied by a divine promise. Not one tear is wasted. Not one moment of pain goes unnoticed. Not one sigh of exhaustion escapes Allah's knowledge. Your hardest moments become the very moments that elevate you, purify you, and draw you closer to Him. And when the hardship finally lifts, and it always does, you look back and realize that the struggle didn't break you. It transformed you. It carved out a version of you that is wiser, stronger, and closer to Allah than ever before. There are times in life when being alone forces you to face the truth about who you really are. When you're surrounded by people, distractions, and constant activity, it becomes easy to hide behind roles, responsibilities, and routines. You can bury your fears beneath noise, drown your doubts in conversation, and avoid your wounds by staying busy. But when Allah places you in a moment of solitude, all the masks you've been wearing slowly begin to fall away. Suddenly, there is nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and no one to pretend for. It is just you, raw, unfiltered, and honest. And while that can feel uncomfortable, it is one of the most powerful turning points a person can experience. When you're alone, you begin to see the parts of yourself you've been ignoring for years. The insecurities you pushed aside start to surface. The emotional wounds you never healed start to ache again. The habits you know are harmful become impossible to justify. The truth you kept avoiding stands directly in front of you. And this honesty, though painful, becomes the beginning of transformation. You cannot change what you refuse to confront. You cannot grow while holding on to illusions about yourself. Solitude becomes the mirror that reveals your reality. Many people fear being alone because they fear facing themselves. They fear discovering how fragile they are, how dependent they are on others, how unresolved their emotions truly are. But Allah places you in that quiet space not to expose you in a humiliating way, but to guide you gently toward healing. He wants you to see what needs to change, what needs to be let go of, what needs to be strengthened within you. He wants you to realign your priorities, refine your character, and understand the version of yourself that He knows you can become. In solitude, you begin to rediscover your true identity, not the one shaped by people's expectations, not the one influenced by society, not the one molded by fear, but the one Allah designed with purpose and potential. You start recognizing your strengths without needing validation. You recognize your flaws without falling into despair. You understand your worth without depending on anyone to remind you. This level of self-awareness is a gift that only silence can give. And something else happens in that loneliness. Your intentions become pure. Without an audience, without the pressure to impress or pretend, you finally act from sincerity. Your du'as become real. Your repentance becomes genuine. Your connection with Allah becomes deeper because it is no longer filtered through the noise of the world. It's just your heart speaking directly to the one who created it. The truth is, solitude shapes you in ways that no social interaction ever could. It sharpens your mind, strengthens your heart, and stabilizes your emotions. It teaches you to rely on Allah instead of relying on people. It teaches you to find peace within instead of searching for it externally. And it prepares you to return to the world with a clearer mind, a stronger faith, and a healthier understanding of who you are. You come out of solitude not weaker but wiser, not empty but full, not lonely but connected, connected to yourself and connected to Allah in a way that transforms everything that comes next. There are moments in life when you feel as though you've been pulled away from everything. People, opportunities, familiar routines, even the things that once brought you comfort. You may not understand why certain relationships suddenly end, why certain doors close, or why you find yourself in a season where you're walking through life with more silence than support. But what you may not realize is that this isolation is not a setback. It is preparation. Allah often works in ways that are hidden from the world. And one of the greatest signs of His love is when He begins shaping you privately before He elevates you publicly. Think about it. Every masterpiece is crafted in a workshop long before it is displayed in a gallery. Every building is constructed quietly before people admire its beauty. Every seed grows underground before it breaks through the soil for the world to see. Your journey is no different. Allah hides you during your growth because the world is not ready to see what He is building within you. And sometimes you are not ready either. You need time. You need clarity. You need strengthening. You need to shed old habits, heal old wounds, and cultivate new qualities before the blessings you are asking for can safely reach you. The truth is, if Allah gave you everything you prayed for before you were ready, the blessing might destroy you instead of elevate you. So He prepares your heart quietly, away from people's eyes. He purifies your intentions because a blessing built on ego will never last. He expands your patience because the responsibility you're praying for requires emotional maturity. He strengthens your faith because every blessing comes with a test, and you need spiritual endurance to handle both. This preparation can feel lonely, but it is sacred. It means Allah has chosen you for something greater. Many people misunderstand isolation and think it means they are being punished or pushed aside. But often, isolation means you are being positioned. Think of Yusuf. Before honor came isolation. Before the palace came the well. Before leadership came loneliness. Before the miracle came silence. Allah hides His chosen servants long before He reveals their destiny. And you may not be a prophet, but you have a purpose, a story, a path uniquely designed for you. The same system of preparation still applies. During this private season, Allah removes certain people from your life because they cannot go where He is taking you. He delays certain opportunities because they would distract you from the better ones ahead. He slows your pace because running too fast would make you miss the lessons you desperately need. Everything He withholds is intentional. Everything He delays is strategic. Everything He removes is protection. And then, when the time is right, when you have grown, healed, learned, Allah opens a door so perfectly suited for you that you finally understand why every other door had to close. You step into blessings that exceed your expectations. You rise into roles you once felt unqualified for. People begin to admire the strength, wisdom, and calmness you carry, not knowing that all of it was forged in moments of solitude they never witnessed. So if you are alone right now, don't see it as emptiness. See it as construction. See it as preparation. See it as Allah reshaping you for a future that requires a stronger, wiser, and more spiritually grounded version of you. The private work He is doing within you today is the foundation of the public blessings waiting for you tomorrow. In the end, loneliness is not the darkness we imagine. It is a doorway to the deepest light. It is in those quiet, private moments that your heart learns to breathe again, your soul remembers its purpose, and your faith discovers its true strength. When Allah pulls you away from the world, it's never to break you, it's to rebuild you. He removes noise so you can hear His guidance. He allows hardship so you can grow through it. He shows you your true self so you can rise above who you were. And He prepares you in silence because your future requires a stronger, wiser, more grounded version of you. So when you find yourself alone, don't rush to escape it. Sit with it. Embrace it. Let it soften your heart, purify your intentions, and bring you closer to the one who never leaves you, not for a second. Your solitude is not a sign that you are unloved. It is a sign that you are being shaped with love. Your isolation is not a setback, it is preparation. And your quiet moments today may be the very moments that open the doors of mercy, clarity, and blessings tomorrow. May Allah make your solitude a source of strength, your silence a source of wisdom, and your loneliness a source of closeness to Him. May He transform your private tears into public elevation. And may He fill your heart with peace, purpose, and light. If this message touched your heart, please share this video, like it, and subscribe so more people can benefit from reminders like this. Jazakallah khair.